Hello! It's been a very long time since we had one of these, and this is a very hard video for me to make. Mostly because I already had a lot of things to talk about in a channel update that was already delayed, and then this one overshadowing issue came about too. We are going to talk about that, but first I want to go through a whole bunch of other things on the channel and me personally. This might be a long one, I don't know. Anyway, we're going to talk about health issues and how that relates to the channel. We're going to talk about how the channel has been doing, about Legacy SMP and what awaits, about other content coming up, about the update videos and especially some missing ones. We're also going to talk about the High Coast Trail hike I did recently and the footage from that, as well as another trip I'll be doing shortly. And we're going to talk about people's behavior on the internet, I guess. Anyway, I want to start with some personal news which explains a lot of how things have changed lately. In several of these channel updates over the last year or so, I've mentioned some health issues in the family, but never gone into more details. The reason for that was there were still some medical investigations going on and such, but we're through all of that now, so it feels more reasonable to tell you all about it. My wife, Srennen, has an illness called ME, or CFS, which stands for myalgic encephalomyelitis, or chronic fatigue syndrome. This is not the most well-known illness, and is also not very well researched, so there are still quite a few unanswered questions about it, but it is fairly widespread. People with ME are often overwhelmingly fatigued to the point of not being able to function normally, a fatigue that does not improve with rest, and that can get catastrophically worse if they exert themselves. With a baseline of a very low amount of available energy, that can be as little as just taking a 15-minute walk. This is a symptom called post-exertion malaise, and for Srennen that can mean that unexpected stress can mean a week of absolute misery. She describes it to me as the type of fatigue you might feel when you have the flu and you're down with a fever. Except for her, that's a good day. The bad days are... let's not talk about the bad days. The illness is often triggered by some form of major infection, and in my wife's case that was an infection from being bitten by one of our cats a few years ago. An event I've also reported on in these channel updates before. Researchers haven't been able to figure out exactly what causes ME at this point, and there's no known cure, although some symptoms can be treated or managed. If we back up for a moment and consider the situation, she and I were very much alike. We both had tons of projects we ran with passion, both very full of energy. With this illness, she just had to basically shut down most of her life. To compare, if it had been me, I would have had to immediately stop everything I'm doing with the channel, and I definitely could not have kept working my current job. Of course, it also means I can't expect her to keep doing all the things she was doing at home either. And in a situation where I've basically gone directly from work to putting in many hours every evening into this channel, as well as most of my spare time in the weekends, well, that just doesn't add up anymore. And for as much as the impact here sucks for me, I still can't complain, because for her, it's just so incredibly much worse. Add to that my own health, which is essentially one thing that ended up getting sacrificed along the way as I kept trying to keep up with everything I wanted to do, but also deal with this new challenge. The pandemic made it easy for me to not be too kind to my own body, lots of sitting in my studio and not even the regular walk up a hill to get lunch at the office. And then cut out the exercise because there just weren't enough hours in the day to do both that and work and make content. You can probably hear how that all just didn't add up, and at the beginning of this year it led me to deciding to cut some content. Because of the way the channel performance looked, the only sensible thing was to just focus on the thing that performed well, update videos, and cut out other content like the Legacy SMP videos. That really kind of sucked for me personally because I love playing Minecraft and I love making cinematic content, and instead I just doubled down on the most grindy and least enjoyable content to make. More surprisingly, it also turned out to suck for the channel. I won't claim to exactly know how this all fits together, but my suspicion is that the combination of content that has basically zero value as back catalog and an update that people were much less interested in combined to create some of the worst performance in the channel history. I was focusing on my supposedly most popular content. It also probably didn't help that because of everything going on, I sometimes had to take a bit longer to produce an update video, which always hurts news content. So, some people have been asking about the missing update videos recently. I will not be going back and making videos for the pre-releases and release candidates. There's just zero reward in that for me. The only video I'm still considering making is the technical news video for 1.19.x, and I'm still not even really decided on that. The Twitch channel did better, but also trended downwards. I think partly because overall Twitch viewership has been declining as people can finally do things out in the world again, and partly because I've had to scale back and miss a few streams. That also leads me to the next thing that I wish I could have talked about before. Legacy SMP has ended. I really wish that I had had more of a proper opportunity to make Season 3 content. There are so many things I left unfinished and so many more things I wish I could have done. But that wasn't possible, and it was obvious to us that there were some core problems with the way Legacy SMP was set up that would be really tricky to deal with, which meant the better way seemed to be to shut the project down and leave the members with more time available for fresh new things. I will always feel like Legacy deserved better, but wishful thinking isn't going to change anything, and moving on was definitely the right choice. That leaves a survival-shaped hole in my channel. So now what? To be completely honest with you, I do not know. I could keep grinding, making update videos that people often say are the best ones on YouTube, while getting around 5% of the views of some channels making a quicker style of videos. Or I could stop, and make less popular content, but content I enjoy making. I'm not saying that's a thing I've decided, but it's certainly a thought I'm toying with. Another aspect of this is that Legacy was one of my stream slots every Saturday. I'm really itching to make a hardcore world and to play that like I played Legacy. A long-term world for mega projects, awesome innovations, and things that could grow over time. But then again, I know how much time that would take, and so I kind of try to keep myself away from starting it. There's also my tutorial series I've been working on. I'm trying to get to the point where I have several episodes of that finished, so that I have some buffer if I can't put a lot of time in for a week or two. But it's slow going. I really want to get that off the ground, but I'm not sure how to in my current situation. There are a lot of question marks in all of what I just said, and not many answers. I'm sorry about that. I'll probably just need more time to figure all of this out. With trying to get my health reasonably in shape and trying also to get out more, I've been hiking a bit more lately. My father and I started section hiking a long trail around the Stockholm area, which has been very nice. Then when Kiddo was going out of town for a couple of weeks, I took that opportunity to take a week off and go on a longer hike on the High Coast Trail. 130 kilometers of hiking in 7 days, which was quite the challenge for someone in my shape, and turned out to be a proper adventure. That was planned for quite a while, but it also happened to coincide with some of the stuff we'll get into later, so getting away from all of that and focusing entirely on being out in nature and overcoming the obstacles in front of you was definitely fortunate timing. I carried my GoPro on the trip, and while it did have some frustrating problems, I also did get a lot of footage. I know some of you have been interested in seeing more of that type of thing before, and I am going to try to make that into a series. That will be going up on a new channel called Lime Outdoors. I don't really know when the first episode will publish, but I am enjoying editing something completely different. If you want to keep an eye on it, I've linked the channel in a card and in the description. In kind of related news, drone regulations have changed here, so I'm not actually allowed to fly my old drone anymore, which sucks. I am studying to get licensed to fly more drone types under the new rules, but I also did get a new drone. A smaller one that I've now learned enough that I am allowed to fly. Sadly, I only got it after my hike. Would have been a fantastic tool to have there. We also have a yearly tradition of going to an event called the Medieval Week on Gotland in Sweden. Because of my wife's illness, she sadly can't go this year. But Kiddo and I will still be going, and that means I'll be entirely away from both video creation and streaming for a week starting this Sunday. Now, that's kind of a weird announcement to make after just coming back, and I can't make a channel update video without going into that subject. Before we do get into this, a content warning. Some of the stuff I'll be showing here is rather nasty. If you don't want to see it, I fully understand. Feel free to look away and just listen along. I mentioned before in a video that I've received a fair amount of personal attacks over the latest Minecraft update. As part of the team responsible for releasing Minecraft's Java edition, I've posted quite a few changelogs, and especially on Reddit, that has definitely made me a target. Everywhere I post anything on Reddit is now followed by a long thread of off-topic comments. There is no limit for these people. Me being away from work out hiking for a week doesn't matter. They will literally desecrate the memory of the dead to clamor about chat reports. So, I guess there are two things I want to say about this whole situation. Number one, you won't hear me take any form of stance on this publicly. I'm employed, that means I have both an NDA to follow and a loyalty clause to abide by. So what feedback I have about the system is stuff I share internally. And that's it. Please don't take that as a hint that I feel this way or that way, it isn't. I'm just trying to be as clear as possible that I cannot talk to you about this stuff. And second, it doesn't matter how much abuse I get. There's zero chance that has any impact on whether stuff like this is included in the game. Literally none. The only possible outcome you could achieve is that I would stop trying to interact with the Minecraft community. I've been making content for Minecraft in my spare time. News videos, tutorials, maps, minigames, all available for free for more than 7 years. Most of that time, this channel ran at a loss. Thousands of hours put into this stuff, but yeah, sure, you're obviously right, internet rando who never cared about anything I did before. So, I did something that I haven't done in all those 7 years. I took a vacation. Not from work, mind, but from this channel, the stuff I do in my free time. Not gonna lie, it was quite nice. Where does that leave us? Who knows? There's now a zero tolerance policy on this channel for this type of dogpiling, and my moderators are now helping out moderate YouTube comments. On-topic discussion is still welcome, but brigading, petitions, and personal attacks are not. I know most of you watching this are reasonable and respectful people, and you aren't at fault for this. So really, the only possible thing I can ask for is that you speak out loudly and clearly whenever you see this happen. And that's really all I can say about that subject. Thank you to everyone out there who has supported me, and thank you to everyone who stays respectful even in disagreements. Thank you. Slicedlime, out.